The purpose of this video is to walk you through the 3 different approaches to assessing and reporting using outcomes in grades 1 through 8. So recall in grades 1 through 8 on the final progress report, we are seeing levels of achievement for all ELA and math outcomes for each student for each grade. So the thing about it is that there are a few ways in Gradebook, 3 in total, to use the tool in order to come up with both a final grade for our final course grade and our final outcome grades. So I'm going to take you through all 3 ways right now. So the first is what's referred to as outcomes only. Okay, and this is a desirable approach because you don't see some of the discrepancies that you might see with the other 2 approaches. I'm going to show you what I mean by that in a second, but let's just go and let's add an assignment, assuming that I'm using the outcomes only method for this reporting period, which is term 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an assignment. I do that the same way every time. I'm in my score sheet, and I'm going to click on the small plus sign, and you can just ignore that for a second. I'm not going to save any scores. There we go. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to creating an assignment. I'm just going to call this persuasive essay, and I'm going to use the abbreviation persuasive essay. That autofills, so that's okay. I'm going to select a course category. I'm just going to use classwork for right now, and I'm going to you can leave the score type as points for now, but I'm going to make this out of 0 points. And I know that might seem odd for now, but just bear with me. So the assignment is actually counting 0 points. Okay, we can include this in the final grade. That won't matter. I can leave the weight as it is. And then I'm going to decide whether or not I want this assignment published immediately. Okay, so that as soon as I input the assignment, it will show up in the parent portal or the student portal. Or do I want to change that and say I would like to publish this on a different date? Okay. Then this is incredibly important, of course, because I'm working on that persuasive essay. I'm going to attach some outcomes. You can just expand this so it's a little bit easier to see. So in that persuasive essay, I'm going to make sure that my outcomes are attached, and for these I'm just going to say, okay, we did a persuasive essay, so it's going to be this outcome. I can probably attach a few more here just for demonstration purposes, and I hit save. One quick thing I'm going to show you as well, you have an audience in the portals for both students and parents, and so sometimes it's really good to include some sort of a description for your assignment. So I'm going to include the description in here. Students are learning to write in the persuasive form. This assignment was assessed using a rubric attached, more on that in a second, and will count towards this term's final grade in ELA as evidence of outcome mastery. I've referred to a rubric that I've used, so let's assume that I've used a rubric. If I click on this link button, it's going to actually bring up a box where you can attach the rubric you use to assess those persuasive essays, which is excellent information, and I'll show you how to do that on another video called Working with Assignments. So I'm going to hit save for now, okay, and that assignment is going to appear in my score sheet. Notice that it's worth 0 points, okay. It's published right away on the date that I created it, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open this standards drawer. It's up here, and that's going to do is expose the outcomes that I've attached to this assignment. So really the assignment is just a bucket, and I'm using it so I can attach some outcomes that I can assess. So I go through here and I'm going to say, okay, it's now time for me to assess these outcomes, and I can start inputting levels of achievement. Okay, so I'm going to just type in a few here just so you kind of get an idea. Meeting, maybe a progressing right here. BE, okay, more meeting, there we go. I'll probably put some more in here just so I can show you what happens on the other side. Okay, I think that'll be good, and I'm going to save for right now. Okay, I want you to notice something then. this actually shouldn't be like that. I'm just going to overwrite this so it doesn't confuse you, because it should actually appear like this. Okay, so notice a few things happening. I've got an assignment now that's worth 0 points. I've got outcomes attached to that assignment, and I've got nothing in the final grade column. Well, the reason that there's nothing in the final grade column is that I don't have any assignments in my score sheet that are worth any points and that have any points awarded to them. So right now I've got 0 in my final grade column. What I'm doing instead is assessing and reporting only the outcomes, okay? And therefore nothing is calculating in my final grades percentage or my final grades level of achievement score, okay? If I go into the final grades view, I'm going to save these. Right now I'm seeing all of the attachments, all the outcomes that I have to report on for my grade 3 ELA class, and you can see here that for levels of achievement I've added, I see those appearing. If I go into the student view, I'm actually looking at a student by student account of where they are in terms of their levels of achievement. That's good. And then, so some of those I didn't assess, but that's okay. There's a few. And down here I can do an analysis, because Gradebook calculates a final outcome score based on the average of the last 5 times or less an outcome was assessed. So I have here at the bottom that average as it appears right now, and if my reporting term were to end today, this is what would be on the report card. Okay, so just so you know that. If I'm using the outcomes only approach, I have to use it for the entire term. It's not good to switch during the term to a different approach. And if I've used it for the entire year, I still have to do something at the end of the year in order to get a final grade in. So I have a final grade for math and ELA. So to do that, I'm on the right page to start. I've got to do some sort of analysis of where my student is in mastery of all of the outcomes, so I can give them a final grade. So I would come to either the student view or the final grades view, and I would say, okay, I'm going to take a look at how they've scored on those outcomes for the entire term, pay more attention, of course, to the 5 most recent, and I'm going to look and I'll say, it looks generally as though a student has, mostly beginnings, therefore I think that their final grade for ELA should probably be a beginning. Okay, so if I agree with that, then I need a way to show it. So I'm going to go back to the assignments view, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more assignment, and I'm going to call that my final grade, term 2, and I can just use the default abbreviation. The category won't matter again, I'll put in classwork. I'm going to leave the score type as points, but I can also change it to letter grade. Might make it easier for me to enter. So I'm going to go to letter grade, and I have to have a points possible, so I'll just leave it defaulted to 10. I will not include any sort of outcomes. I want it published right away so I don't have to go into those tabs. And I might write a little note right here saying this is the final ELA grade for term 2, and I'm going to save that. And just like I did for my other assignment, I'm going to go up here and you'll see now there's no standards drawer, there's no outcomes attached to this assignment because I'm doing it to assign a final grade. And based on the analysis of my gradebook, I can go in here and start giving final ELA grades to each of my students, and I can do that by letter. It just goes like this. You can go all the way down and save at the very bottom. And there you go. That's a very quick basic look at the assessing and reporting using outcomes only in Gradebook.